I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. As if on cue, pun intended, MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives, led by the weakest Speaker of the House in American history, Kevin McCarthy, are following the orders of Donald Trump. We learned that after Special Counsel Jack Smith sent a target letter to Donald Trump does what he always does now, based on his criminality and when accountability is coming his way. He calls up the MAGA Republicans who control the House of Representatives. He calls up Kevin McCarthy and Elise Stefanik and Jim Jordan and James Comer and says, here is what you have to do or else. And that's what Donald Trump did after he got the target letter from Special Counsel Jack Smith. And now we are seeing what the plan is, and their despicable plan, which will backfire. I'll do a whole video on how it's going to backfire. I want to show you the facts right now, is that the MAGA Republicans say that they want to move forward with an impeachment of President Joe Biden. For what reason? For what crimes? With what evidence? They don't really have an answer. They just state that they are going to do it. They say that President Biden's like Richard Nixon. They just throw out words and terms. And I want to show you what's went down over the past 24 hours, because this is now a coordinated message by the MAGA Republicans. Here is Kevin McCarthy on Fox stating that that he believes the conduct he's seen already, by the way, which we've covered here on the MeidasTouch network, all of these hearings showing how MAGA Republicans have created these fake whistleblowers. Kevin McCarthy says that this rises to the level of an impeachment inquiry. Play this clip.
If you're sitting in our position today, we would know none of this if Republicans had not taken the majority. We've only followed where the information has taken us. But Hannity, this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed. Because this president has also used something we have not seen since Richard Nixon, used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny Congress the ability to have the oversight.
Then, of course, because this is all coordinated, the MAGA Republican influencer Charlie Kirk goes breaking. Speaker McCarthy says House readying for impeachment of Joe Biden. It goes, quote, this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, something we haven't seen since Richard Nixon. Joe Biden used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny congressional oversight. I mean, completely false. Completely reckless, completely defamatory. Oh, and by the way, we saw in the Trump administration actual family members of Donald Trump making more than $600 million while they were given positions that they weren't appointed or confirmed for through the constitutional process, that the American people, we didn't want Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, or Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, who got all of these trademarks from China. Ivanka and Jared made over $600 million while they were in the White House, couldn't get security clearances because they were so compromised. You have the leader of Saudi Arabia, MBS, saying that Jared Kushner is in his pocket and giving him classified and confidential information and mocking Jared Kushner. Then the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund gives Jared Kushner $2 billion after Jared Kushner leaves from the White House, where we never wanted him in the first place. That's the facts. That's real. Donald Trump paid more money in taxes to China, but the MAGA Republicans at this point, it's just a criminal cartel, basically, let's face it, and their propaganda is at the level of Putin. It's at the level of Russia, and we're seeing it right here. So there's Charlie Kirk saying that, and then what does Marjorie Taylor Greene go? She goes soon, because they coordinate their message. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene goes on the House floor, and she says that Congress must immediately move to impeach Biden and expunge Donald Trump's 2 impeachments. How pathetic can you be? Expunge Donald Trump's impeachments and go after President Biden? By the way, they are stooges of Donald Trump. They are taking their orders from Donald Trump, and it's pathetic. Here is MAGA Republican Ralph Norman basically saying, At the end of the day, President Biden's going to be impeached. Evidence be damned, he's going to just be impeached. Here, play this clip of MAGA Republican Ralph Norman.
If it's not accountability now for the highest office holder in the land, when is it going to be? So he's right to do it, and I think he's going to continue. And I think at the end of the day, he will be impeached.
And then later in the day, Kevin McCarthy, regarding impeachment calls against Biden, he echoed that same dystopian talking point that they use over and over again, which is internally inconsistent because MAGA Republicans have praised Richard Nixon very recently. They tried to revive the reputation of Richard Nixon and said he was treated unfairly. But anyway, there's nothing consistent about what the MAGA Republicans do. And here Kevin McCarthy says, we're watching this administration use the government like Richard Nixon. And again, you had Donald Trump engaging in crime after crime in open and obvious ways, trying to overthrow our democracy, having his kids make hundreds of millions of dollars and thereafter billions of dollars, so that there's golf tournaments now in Trump properties. We can see this. Here, play this clip of Kevin McCarthy.
The only way you can investigate that is through an impeachment inquiry, so the committee would have the power to get all the documents that they would need. What I said last night, and I continue, I said it before, when more of this continues to unravel, it rises to the level of impeachment inquiry where you would have the Congress to have the power to get to all these answers. I would think the Biden family would want to answer these questions as well, provide the documents instead of holding them back. We're watching this administration use government much like Richard Nixon used by denying us to get the information that we need. So that's
¿Estás disfrutando de mi podcast? Thanks to Babbel, I know what that means. Do you? 1 in 5 Americans have learn a new language on their bucket list. Now, if that's you, check it off the list this summer with Babbel. Because with Babbel, you start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. That's right. This summer, you can start speaking a new language with Babbel. Now, why Babbel? Because it works. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a private tutor or fooling yourself with language apps that are a little more than just games, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is designed by real people for real conversations. All of Babbel's tips and tools for learning a new language are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching. Babbel's courses are super convenient. They've helped me learn real-life conversation skills on my schedule. Now I'm going on vacation later this year, and I definitely feel more confident in my Spanish-speaking abilities for the most everyday and important tasks, like ordering food or asking for directions, you name it. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology, this helps you improve your pronunciation and accent, an absolute game changer. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove that Babbel is better. For instance, one study shows that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is real language learning for real conversations. Now, here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/Meidas. Get 55% off at babbel.com/Meidas, spelled BABBEL.com/Meidas. Rules and restrictions may apply.
But you notice they don't cite evidence, right? They're not talking about objective data, right? Because when they do, here's James Comer saying that their whistleblower has gone missing. Play the clip.
Hold on a second, Congressman. Did you just say that the whistleblower or the informant is now missing?
Well, we're hopeful that we can find the informant. Now, remember, these informants are kind of in the spy business.
Or remember when they said they've got 17 audio tapes that are recordings, that this FD 1023 form mentioned 17 recordings and the Republicans have it that shows Biden on tape. Oh, well, actually, even though they said it, now they say they never said it. And here's MAGA Republican Ron Johnson from Wisconsin saying, we don't know. The Senator Grassley, MAGA Republican, he never said they existed. Yeah, you did. And that was published in all of the newspapers, all of the right-wing newspapers. Here, play this clip.
Such an important story needs coverage. If indeed the 17 audio tapes exist, it would be in effect really a smoking gun for the big guy. So I want to ask you first, Senator, do you think they exist? And if yes, how to obtain them?
We don't know. And, Senator Grassley has never said they exist. He just said that there's an FBI report on a confidential human source, and that confidential human source says that the person we were talking to said that he taped. He recorded 17 times, 15 times with Hunter, twice with Joe Biden, but we don't know. But what Senator Grassley and I are asking questions is, what did the FBI do with that evidence?
Or how about the fact that they're fake whistleblowers who go in and provide, this under oath testimony and basically perjure themselves? What they are saying that caused them concern when they say, oh, there was delay in the Hunter Biden prosecution caused by President Biden. Well, when these fake whistleblowers are actually questioned, they go, yeah, April 2020, Biden wasn't the president, correct? And they're like, oh. And then, the Democrats will be like, who was the president? Well, I don't know how to answer that. What do you mean you don't know how to answer that? Was President Biden the president? Here, watch Democratic Congress member Raja Krishnamurthy in his cross-exam. Play this clip.
You were concerned about the complexities of the election cycle and potential delays that arose in connection with the election cycle. You said at page 23, and I remember there were always times where we were always on an impending election cycle. It was always the elections being brought up in early 2020. It was the presidential primaries. Now, sir, Joe Biden was not the president at that time either, was he?
I mean, the answer to your question is no, he was not, but I don't see where you referenced it in my, for me to follow
Page 23. Along. You're talking about how the election cycle is delaying decisions by the prosecution. And it turns out that the delay in the election cycle was happening at a time when Joe Biden was not the president.
I'm sorry, sir. That's in Special Agent Ziegler's transcript. That's why I couldn't find it.
So, Mr. Ziegler and you shared concerns about delays related to the election cycle. But at that time, Joe Biden was not the president.
I believe at that time he was the nominee for president.
Well, he was not the president, was he? It's just a simple question, sir.
Can you rephrase what time period?
Joe Biden was not the president in the presidential primaries in 2020.
Correct. That is correct.
Sir, finally, Mr. Shapley, you said that warrants were ready as soon as April 2020 to begin searching for records, but actions weren't taken with regard to those warrants. Again, Joe Biden was not the president in April 2020, was he?
So I'm confused by your line of questioning. We're talking about an election to which now President Biden was a part of. So he didn't have to be the president to have election meddling.
No, but the question is this. Was he the president at that time in April 2020?
It's been asked and answered.
And what's the answer, sir?
The election.
The answer is yes or no?
Is no.
Thank you. Thank you. I yield back.
Mr.
And finally, I want to show you this clip of Nancy Pelosi saying just how pathetic these MAGA Republicans are letting Donald Trump pull their strings like puppets. Play this clip.
In a private call, the now Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, told the former president that he supported the idea of expunging Trump's two impeachments, but apparently he didn't commit to bringing it to the floor for a vote. You oversaw both of those impeachment proceedings. What's your reaction to this notion?
Well, the president was impeached because we had no choice. He had undermined our national security, jeopardized our well-being of our country. I was very careful about bringing any impeachment forward. But when the president made that phone call in terms of Ukraine, there was no choice. We had no choice. He must be impeached. Kevin is, playing politics. It's not even clear if he constitutionally can expunge those things. If he wants to put his members on the spot, his members in difficult races on the spot, that's a decision he has to make. But this is not responsible. This is not about the flag still being there. This is about being afraid. As I've said before, Donald Trump is the puppeteer. And what does he do all the time but shine the light on the strings? These people look pathetic.
Look, folks, I'm going to be honest. I'm angry. I'm upset about, and look, I will always try to keep a calm tone here. And I know how important that is and how I deliver these, these broadcasts. But I do want to say this. I mean, this conduct is so despicable by the MAGA Republicans. It is so horrific by the MAGA Republicans. It is so anti-American. We're going to keep calling them out together. Don't let them get you down. Don't let them bring you down. That is what they are trying to do. Together, we will continue to make sure that there is truth and accountability, and we'll keep bringing the facts. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, wherever you get audio podcasts. Subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Have a great day. Hit subscribe.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.